city of Mount Vernon Police Department since 2007. When I first became a police officer here in the city, we had the rotating charts. It was very hard to adjust to a sleep schedule, an eating schedule, and family lifestyle. We went into steady tour starting in 2013, and it improved my mental health, my physical health, and my overall family lifestyle. I'm against the rotating tours because it has been proven and shown to be detrimental to officers' health, mentally and physically. Also financially, it would cost me extra money. My wife, she works midnights, so anytime I'm on the midnight shift, I would have to hire a babysitter, which, as we know, costs money.
Hey, this is Pio Marquez, and I am making this testimony in regards to the termination of steady tours and the transition into the rotating chart come April. I want to start off by saying that I love my job. I love being a police officer for the city of Mount Vernon. However, this is not my life. My life is at home with my family and with my children. If we were to begin rotating come April, not only would it have a negative impact on me mentally and physically, but it would turn my children's life upside down as well. For one, my children would see less of me. And for two, on top of already having to pay for my children to attend daycare Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., I would now somehow have to be able to find and hopefully hire somebody to watch my kids during the evening and midnight hours as well. This will be a great burden on my family and I emotionally, mentally, and financially. So with that being said, I respectfully and kindly ask that you reconsider this decision. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Bruce with the Mount Vernon Police Department. I've been here for 14 years. I've risen through the ranks. I worked as a patrolman from 2008 to 2012, and I did rotate. At the time, I had a young daughter who was adversely affected with me rotating, and it also affected my marriage to my first wife, which led to my, of course, divorce. Now that we have the impending rotating tours again, I am married again, and I have a very young child. My wife also works for the Mount Vernon Police Department, and she is also facing the threats of rotating as well, which is going to adversely affect our child care situation. There hasn't been any compensation to help with child care. So as a lieutenant and my wife working as a dispatcher, it's going to really put a financial strain on our life. I don't believe that any officer should have to go through that. And I believe that the administration as well as the mayor needs to rethink this. We are police officers, but we also human beings, and that needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Officer John Damiano. I was sworn in as a police officer in January 2012. When I was first hired, Mount Vernon Police Department was already on the rotating shifts. And I already knew how rotating shifts have a toll on a person's body, mentally, physically, and emotionally. After retiring honorably from the United States Navy after 20 years of active duty, which I am sure can be tied to the stroke that I suffered in 2016. Going back to rotating shifts will severely affect my life in many ways. One being my health, which I already stated. Two, being my daughter, who has numerous doctor's appointments and counseling appointments due to depression and other personal matters in her life. And lastly, I was recently placed as a guardian for my father, who was recently admitted to a long-term facility for dementia. Rotating will turn my somewhat stable life now completely upside down and cause major problems for me in my life in the near future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Officer Joseph Diaz. I have been a PO since December 2013 and transferred to Mount Vernon Police Department in October of 2017. In my time here, we have maintained stability as a PD and personally as a family under steady tours. With the new announcement of rotating tours, I am afraid of what it will hold for my family. I have 2 girls in elementary school and a newborn baby at home. My wife, who recently took a promotion with her new hours, will be going back to work full-time early this summer. As it was laid out with my steady shift, babysitting will be able to be had by the people we have entrusted our children to for these last 9 years. With rotating shifts, we are inundated with concern about what we will do with our 3 children. There are no local daycares with infant availability for at least a year out. The trusted family and friends that we have use this childcare work during the morning hours and do not live in the immediate close area, so early hours every day will be a major issue. Not only will we be looking to find someone we would trust, but also the financial burden will take a major toll. I live about an hour away from the police department. Between rising gas prices and mileage on my car, the expense is already great. Paying increased prices for new child care personnel, as well as the increased amount of hours needed to be covered, will most definitely pose a huge detriment in our budget. I pray that the city of Mount Vernon and the MVPD can come to an alternative conclusion as to what may benefit the retention of officers and safety of the city, as this will affect many of us in a terribly negative way.
My name is Officer Marshall. I'm with Mount Vernon Police Department for 5 years. When I started this job, I took the job as a resident of the community. I have not been here for several years. However, I wanted to come back to help effect some type of change in the city where my family is not only from, but still currently lives. When I started, we were steady tours. Along the lines, it had been brought up that we should go to rotating tours. At that time, several of my colleagues and I addressed the administration and advised them of the issues that doing so would put on not only myself, but other officers inside of the department. We are now here again, at this time, having to fight the same battle. For myself, it would affect not only my family, but my own mental health, as well as my own physical health. Currently, I am the sole caretaker of my son. I work an 8 to 4 tour to be able to take care of my son in the evening at the time in which his father is unable to do so. We do not have any other caretakers that are able to take care of him. If we are to go to rotating tours, it would not only affect myself, it would affect my husband as well as my son. We are concerned about the mental health of the officers, but the mental health of our families also is going to be affected if we are not able to stay on steady tours. It is not efficient for us, nor is it efficient for the city. The city will be affected because the officers will be tired. The officers will be overworked and overstressed. We are already underpaid, and we do our best every day we come in. We complain very little, and we get nothing in return. All we are asking for is what we signed up for, which is at least our steady tours.
Well, hopefully, with all you out here, the mayor and city hall and the police administration, they'll start to hear us too. Yeah! I ask you all to come out here today because it's becoming more and more obvious that the mayor and our leaders in the police department are having a lot of hard time hearing what we have to say. The executive board and I decided that the best way to get the city's attention is to show them that we are united and that we're in this together. So that's what we're doing here today. Make no mistake about it. The problems we face at the Mount Vernon Police Department as police officers are most certainly creating and have created some very serious public safety problems for the residents of our great city. And I'm here not only representing the police officers, but I am a lifelong resident of this city as well. And my concern is not only for my members, but for the city itself. Because if our police department fails, so does our city. And right now, our police department is failing. The mayor says that her employees are the city's most valuable resource. And over the past 2 years, she has not shown that to be the case. We, as the police officers in the city, have been through many hardships in the past 2 years. We've dealt with COVID-19, bringing sickness home to our families. We've driven around unsafe vehicles that have no business being on the road. We've gone out in hot summer days, 100 degrees or more, with no air conditioning in our cars. We bring our own toilet paper and soap to work. We work in a building that's falling apart. It's got mold coming out of our vents, leaks all over the place. We've been subject to frivolous, sometimes politically motivated disciplinary actions.
Yes.
And we are the lowest paid police department in Westchester County, by
Yes.
anywhere from 20
Yes.
to 65%.
Yes.
We've had a turnover of almost half our department in the past 2 years, with 54 transfers and 25 people retiring, turned over. And what does that do? That creates a huge public safety and officer safety problem. Okay? It makes us the least experienced department in the county. It's going to lead to increased response times on calls. It could lead to potentially tragic errors out in the street. There's no one here, or very few people here, I should say, that are able to train and mentor the young officers that get hired here.
Yep.
It makes detective cases harder to solve and harder to bring closure to the families of the citizens of Mount Vernon. It emboldens criminals, and it puts us and the public in grave danger. But yet every day, we still come here and we do our jobs, and we do them better than anyone else in the county. What's our reward for coming to work under these conditions every day? We've had no contract for 5 years. No real negotiation with the city offering us anything at all. And we asked them for one simple show of good faith. For the remainder of this year, while we negotiate a new contract and a new schedule, the city took that away as well. Now, for those that don't know, a steady tour chart, it affects a lot. It affects the lives of our police officers. Okay? There are countless articles and tons of research out there that show that working a rotating shift is bad for your physical and mental health. It could cause family problems at home, mess up your personal life, your family life, your kids see you less. Steady tours is also a hallmark of Barack Obama's 21st century community policing model, which the city prides itself on implementing. Well, it's taking away one of the most important parts of that policy that Barack Obama created. Then there's the case of our Police Reform Commission. Last year, as you guys know, Governor Cuomo ordered every department in the state to create and form a police reform committee to come up with red carpets to make them safer and more friendly to the public. Well, our Police Reform Committee, which was headed by our very own Deputy Commissioner Jen Lackert and our newly elected Councilwoman Danielle Brown, worked very hard in that committee, and one of the main things that came out of it was a steady work chart is better for the police officers and for the community of Mount Vernon. And they were ignoring that. This rotating chart is going to cause an increased financial burden on our members. Some are going to have to find childcare, some might have to quit school. And in general, it's just going to upend everybody's life. The sad part about all this is none of this was taken into consideration by either the mayor or our police commissioner when they abruptly made this decision on the last day of the year to transition us back to rotating tours on April 1st. So, since the city won't listen to me, it won't listen to the executive board, who have tirelessly tried to fight together, screaming to them that enough is enough, and we're not taking it. So I ask you all now to tell the mayor and tell the commissioner, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Is there anyone out here that wants to come up and say how this is negatively affecting them? Anybody want to say a few words? Don't all turn away now.
Nobody wants to be a sacrificial lamb.
Well, listen, the way they target people here for speaking out, I don't blame you guys, all right? So I'll be a lightning rod. Let them come after me. Thank you, guys.